Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to another weekly pick a card reading. If you're a longtime subscriber of my channel, you've probably noticed that I haven't posted in the past few weeks. So I do want to apologize for that. I wasn't feeling inspired. I didn't have a good topic that I wanted to do. My energy wasn't quite right. So I decided to just disconnect for a bit and pour myself into family and friends. So I had a lot of good moments over the past few weeks, a lot of quality time with some of the people that I love and care about. And I just wanted to wait for that moment of motivation, I guess, to strike me. So on today's topic, it kind of aligns with kind of what's been going on with me the past few weeks as well. I want to give you guys some career advice, some life purpose advice. I want to be able to channel actually some advice to you from spirits. So if you've been thinking about a career shift, wondering if you're in the right career, what is your overall purpose here? Just receiving some insight for some things like that. Hopefully today's video will be of service to you. I do want to thank all of you who are subscribed, who have been here week after week. Tana, I know that you reached out to me on Etsy. I'm actually going to take time to read that message tonight. I tend to prolong message reading until I know that I'm in the right moment to be able to soak it all in and respond. So I saw the notification, but I haven't actually opened it to read it. But I do want to thank you for reaching out to me. That's what I love about you guys. You guys are so, I just have a really loving group of subscribers, and I can feel that we genuinely care about one another, and I do genuinely care about all of you. So it means so much every single time one of you reaches out to check in, to give me compliments, let me know that you love me, that my videos have helped you. I feel the same way about all of you, and it was a big reason why I started this channel, was to have like-minded people to connect with. That's the beauty about online. That's the beauty about the internet nowadays. It's really easy to kind of find our tribe and our group. I remember one of my subscribers months ago was wanting me to do a video on like, who is my tribe, where are my people kind of thing, and which I haven't done yet. I really should do. Let me know down below if you guys would like a video on that. But it did make me think like, that's something that I do feel like I've found through my subscribers. I don't even know if I would need to seek out a video like that for myself personally at this time, because I do feel so surrounded by people like you all who to connect with, to provide me with support, guidance, insight, thoughtful conversations. And so I want to thank you all for being there for me, and let you know that I'm so grateful and appreciative for each and every one of you, that we can go on this journey week after week of ultimately self-discovery. I want to help us empower ourselves to discover who we really are at our core, to connect with spirit, with source, with the divine, whatever it is that you call to, that you pray to. And that's what I love about what we do here. So anyways, I know it was long-winded, but I just wanted to send some words of support and appreciation out to all of you. If any of you are suffering, going through something rough, feeling uninspired, not supported, please always feel free to comment down below. The comment section is not only a spot where you can let me know what pile that you picked and how it related to you, but I want it to also be a place where we can just vent, get things off our chest, ask questions, and where we can respond to one another. You know, I can't always respond to every single comment, although I do read them. But even if I had all the time in the world, I honestly, truly believe that a lot of my subscribers have answers to things that even I don't have answers to, have gone through certain experiences that I myself haven't, and can be of guidance, of service to someone else in this community. So that's kind of what I hope for with this channel. And I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going to take this in the months and the years ahead. And I'll always, no matter how big this channel gets, no matter how many subscribers we ultimately get, be so appreciative of the first 1,000 that I had that have been here with me since the very beginning. So I love you guys so much, and I'm excited, I'm ready, I'm inspired to get into today's video. So let's get to the image, and I want you to tap into your intuition, to your higher self, to source, figure out which pile is calling to you. Ask the question that you want to ask, or that you want answered in today's reading, and see which pile is kind of pulling at your heartstrings, okay? And then timestamps for everything will be down below, and I'll see you at your pile. Love you. Hey Pile 1, welcome to your reading. I'm looking forward to see what Spirit has to say to you about your career direction, your life purpose, any changes or updates that need to be made there, any encouragement that you need to receive at this time. In today's reading, I'm actually going to be using a new deck that I purchased a couple weeks ago when I kind of purchased a whole bunch of decks at once. That seems to be how I do things. It's always in extremes, like I'll hold off, not spend a penny for months, and then once I decide, okay, I have some money to spend, it's like I go all out. So I got a bunch of decks, and this actually isn't an oracle deck, but we're going to use it like it is. These are calling cards, and there's directions provided inside. I think it was like 15 bucks. And I use these on my sister and on my mom, like how they're supposed to be used. There's little instructions, but it helps you narrow down your calling. So here, this card that's provided in the deck, it says, what is your calling? Because this is ultimately what we're going to be tapping into in today's reading. So I want to read this short little explanation from the author about how do you determine what your calling is. So number 1, your calling is expressed by the special gifts that you consistently give to others. 2, your calling fulfills your desire to use your gifts on things you feel passionate about. And 3, your calling comes to life in environments that support your values. So then in the little equation at the bottom here, it says gifts plus passions plus values equals your calling. Okay, so we'll get into those cards a little later in the reading, but I want to start with rolling the die as always and getting into the tarot. Okay, all right, let's take a roll. All right, we have Neptune in Aquarius in the 7th house. Okay, Neptune's kind of about fantasy, illusion, addiction even, dreamscape. It's kind of about an alternate reality, I guess. Fantasy, I think I already said that. Aquarius, that's an air sign, so it's a lot about communication and mental capacity, thinking, learning, that logical side to us, as well as like the larger communities and groups that we're a part of. And the 7th house is about business partnership, it's about the other, it's about customers, it's about marriage partners, one-on-one relationships. So your ultimate career, I guess, is meant to be in a field like this, or this might be kind of what you're in right now and trying to figure your way out of it. Because I do feel a sense of a little bit of confusion and kind of like I'm lost. Neptune's kind of known to do that. It can make it difficult to see things clearly. It's like you don't know if what you're being pulled towards is this my intuition pulling me towards this, or is this something else? Like, am I being tricked? Am I being duped? So I'm definitely getting that from this pile. And I'm also getting that you all tend to be, and I don't know if you recognize this, but how others view you, how others perceive you, other people's opinions or insights about you really, really affects how you determine what to do next. I see that you kind of lean on other people in a sense, or you allow them to affect what you ultimately are going to decide for yourself. And I am hearing from Spirit that that's something they want you to kind of work through or recognize when it's coming up, because somehow that's going to help you cut through the fog in a sense. When you're able to determine, like to notice your reactions when people say certain things, give certain opinions, and to see how that may make you feel kind of cloudy inside, uncertain, unsure of yourself. And absolutely, we should take the advice of people that we care about, that we trust, okay? But there's no single person outside of us that knows us better than we know ourselves ultimately. So with any bit of information and advice that we receive from others, it's important that we can kind of cut through that, get to the details, and determine what really is going to apply to us and help us and what really isn't, okay? Spirit wants you actually to learn to be your own best source of navigation in the world, in your career, with your purpose. That's really what I'm hearing they want you to build up at this time. How can I build up my confidence in myself and my decision making? What are little things I can do to prove to myself that I am capable, that my intuition's on point, that I know myself better than anyone else, that I can truly trust myself? So looking into activities, exercises, books even, that can help you cut through that, get to the bottom of that. Where's that cost from? Where does that come from? So that you can turn that skill into something that can really be helpful for you, instead of allowing this part of you to stay a little bit weak and unsure of itself, because then it can kind of be used against you, not for you. All right. I do see that, I know we haven't even gotten to the cards yet, but wow, Spirit's got a lot to talk to you about. You guys actually will be, maybe you already are, really good at helping other people navigate through things, giving advice, giving insight to others. That's what's kind of funny and ironic in all of it, right? Because, or at least that's, you seem to be, someone who's really great at tapping into the energy of others and figuring out how to solve their problems, what their purpose is. But when it comes to yourself, it's like there's a hang up there, isn't there? Okay, so let's get into the tarot and see what else Spirit wants to say to you about this. All right, we have King of Wands. This is fire energy. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have Four of Pentacles, earth energy, of course. Then we have Six of Cups, Four of Swords. Okay, already we've got a real nice balance of energy. We've got every suit in here. We've got fire, earth, water, air. See what the last card is. All right, the Hierophant. This is Taurus energy. This is kind of what I was touching on at the end of talking about the die that came up. The Hierophant, he's the pastor. He's the guide for others, right? He helps people tap into what God wants for them. Kind of like what I do in a sense. Some of you may be interested in astrology, tarot reading. You don't have to be because there's so many careers that utilize this, but it's almost like you're very good at tapping into an energy outside of you to channel advice to others. So it's like, I think the reason why you're so good at it is because you think of it in a sense of, well, it's not me that's actually determining what this person needs to hear. This isn't advice from me, myself, and I. I'm actually giving advice from a higher source, whether that be your intuition, your psychic abilities, your religious beliefs, maybe advice that was given to you through other people, grandparents, parents, that you're now passing down to others. Like, well, my grandma always said that in this situation, it would be good to do X, Y, or Z. It's where you get hung up is when it's like, oh, I need to determine what to do for myself. It needs to come from me. I've got to make that decision. Oh, crap. I don't know. Right? But King of Wands, this is a very creative energy. It's an entrepreneurial sort of energy, very adventurous. It's fiery, it's passionate, it's spirited. With this coming up in the cards, I'm definitely seeing that you've got to be passionate about the work that you're doing. You have to. You're not one of those people, even with this nice little Aquarius, emotionally detached energy that came up in the die. It's almost like your mind is stuck. You can't think logically. You can't come up with new ideas. You can't come up with solutions. You can't investigate unless you're passionate about what you're doing. Not everyone needs that in career, okay? But you do. So it's very important that you choose your career based on your passions and what is exciting to you, not based on the work hours, not based on the pay, not based on outside perceptions, okay? That's going to be so crucial to you at this time. Let all of that go, okay? And find out, I think you already know what it is you're passionate about. But what I'm hearing is there's this hang up with, well, but people who have that job, like, I just don't like those hours. Or people who have that job, like, they've got to get into so much debt through college or whatever in order to pursue it. Or, or people who have that job, they don't make a lot of money. I mean, it's very rare to make a good amount of money doing that. So I don't know. Spirit's really wanting you to clear all of that away because there's a shift going on in you determining your own values and how your values are ready for an update and they're ready to change. You know, maybe in the past, the amount of time that you worked or what time you were required to work was a huge value for you. You wanted to only work weekdays during the day, be home evenings and weekends. Maybe in the past, the amount of money that you made was a big determining factor, was a value for you. Like if I can't guarantee that I'm going to make X amount a year, I don't even want to touch it. But there's a shift, there's a risk Spirit's wanting you to take at this time in terms of your career, tapping into your dreams. And I do see with the Six of Cups, for some of you, this is something that you tapped into a long time ago. Like you've kind of always known what it is you were passionate about. For others of you, there is a sibling or a family member that what they've done for a living is an inspiration to you. And it's something you've wanted to pursue. I just see there being like someone in the family that's kind of done this, whether it like maybe you want to start a business and no one in the family has a business like the one you want to start, you know, selling the things you want to sell. But there's someone in the family who is kind of an entrepreneur of sorts, or maybe is in sales or has a job where, they work some weekends and their money kind of fluctuates. Okay, something like that. There's someone in your circle of people that I see that you've been kind of inspired by. but not enough to really make a big change or a leap of faith yet, okay? I'm also seeing from Spirit with both of these fours. Fours are about laying down a new foundation, stabilizing something. For some of you, it's going to be really, really important to set up a savings plan, because I'm seeing that a lot of you are wanting to, ultimately, Spirit's trying to lead you to invest in something or take a risk in something, but they don't want you to be stupid about it, right? So saving, paying off debts. Also, some of you have people that owe you money or owe you their time, owe you favors, and it's time to actually get that back, rebalance that scale. That's what I see here in this card. Notice these three people are handing this man a coin. To me, it feels like a debt that's being paid off. You know, it's time to actually ask people for some favors to help you save some time, to help you save some money. All right? Don't carry everything on your own shoulders, because yeah, you are going to spread yourself too thin, and then yeah, there's not enough time in your day for your dreams, for your passions, for the risks that you want to take. And that's the other thing with the Four of Swords. Some of you actually may have gone through a loss recently that's making kind of shaken you up a bit and made you think like, oh, what? Wow, let me rethink things. It could have been a death in the family, a loss of a job, mental or emotional fatigue or exhaustion, like a mental breakdown, or a breakup, okay? But something where it's like, I need to go within myself, get out of this mode of, Mom, what do you think I should do? Friends, what do you think I should do? What would society most approve of? And allow these thoughts to be cleansed, purified, and transformed. Notice this man, he's going through a period of healing. And his thoughts, which are represented by the swords, are transforming into butterflies so that they can fly, so they can go places. So it's time to like pause and rethink things. But I do see here with the Hierophant, first of all, your spiritual guidance is going to be huge for you at this time, tapping into that, but also recognizing, trusting in your ability to be that guide for yourself, to tap into God, to source, whatever it is you believe in on your own, and provide yourself with that guidance. Help yourself navigate with God. You don't need a middleman, I guess is what I'm saying. I feel like you're going to be shifting from a place of, oh, I need this middleman to tell me what God wants for me, to give me the advice that I need. And that's going to shift to, I can tap into God. I can tap into my higher self. I can figure out where I need to go, where I need to take things. Some of you, I think, would be great, like life coaches, public speakers, authors. Some of you have a really great business idea, something that's new, that's never been done before, maybe an invention. Some of you are going to be, yeah, I see like speaking, essays, all this air energy is really coming up, but it's paired with this fiery entrepreneurial energy in the King of Wands. And we've got the Lion here. That's Leo. That's the spotlight. Some of you are meant to kind of investigate something, crack the code on something, translate something. Language, I also feel, is coming up, language learning, or maybe helping people connect through communication and language. But we'll get more into that as we go through the other cards. So let's take a look at the card toppers you all gravitated towards. And we had both of these, 2 card toppers today. All right. So this first one has kind of the chakra. Oh, okay. Yeah, this makes sense. All right. So the throat chakra came up. Throat chakra sits right here. And it's all about communication, speaking and listening, like conveying your thoughts, manifesting things. When we speak things, they come true, right? And so that's meant to be the main thing used in your career. For some of you with Neptune, even acting, okay, or directing, movie making, things like that could be a part of your life purpose. On this card specifically, it says vulnerability. Showing vulnerability is a sign of strength. And the stone that can help you guys at this time, if you're a believer in stones and the energy that they carry and what they can help you with, on this card it says the sodalite stone. And you can get stones at a very inexpensive price. Like if you get a small one, sometimes they're like $3-5. And what I do when I'm really feeling like I need to use my stones is I'll either sleep with them, like I'll actually put them in my bra, or even wear them throughout the day. Like I get a small stone, I'll just wear it in my bra to make sure it's on me, or in my pocket. You can put it in your purse to help the throat chakra open up and to communicate better. You can drop your stone, just make sure you clean it, in your water jug. If you have a little jug of water that you carry with you, you can drop it in there, so that way as you're drinking the water, it's kind of energizing it with its energy. So vulnerability, okay. Vulnerability is showing this as a sign of strength. How do we show vulnerability? we communicate it, right? So I feel like there's a lot of, because there's this concern and this worry about how are others perceiving me, I'm weak, so I need the help of others. You kind of close off a lot. Not that you're masking it, because I'm not getting a vibe that you guys are being fake at all. It's just more like, oh, I think I'm not going to share that. I'm not going to expose that, right? So there's no lying going on, but it's like, I'm just going to protect and guard this part of myself. But the interesting thing is Spirit's showing me that kind of the whole career purpose and avenue you're supposed to go into has a lot to do with exposing the thoughts that are in your head, the dreams that are in your mind, maybe even being inspired by the mistakes of your past or your insecurities as you're writing things, as you're creating things, as you're talking. Okay, that's going to be a huge source of strength actually in your career path, being able to really get vulnerable with people, with your customers, with the crowd that you're after. That's going to be something that pulls people in towards you, okay? All right, let's look at the other card here. It's got the two little horses out and about, and the back of it says play. Our work can and should take on the quality of play, for it is play that stimulates creativity. Beautiful. So that right there just tells me, like, if you guys are in a real restrictive sort of environment, I don't think that's conducive for your life purpose. You need to be in an environment that's a bit more flexible, open, and free, where you have a little bit more of autonomy, okay, where there's not a lot of structure in the leadership, you know, like, okay, this is the boss, and that's the boss's boss, and here's what the, you know what I mean? A hierarchy, I guess, somewhere that's more equalized or open, or, you know, if you're wanting to work for yourself, that would be great as well, but not anything that's got a huge hierarchy of leadership above it or below it, definitely. Some of you could even do really well working for or with children in some capacity. They definitely carry this energy of playfulness, vulnerability that could assist you in your endeavors. Okay, let's look at the last one on this side. It says right action. Aparigraha, I'm probably butchering that, I'm so sorry. Aparigraha. It sounds like it's from another language. Aparigraha literally means let everything that wants to go, go, and everything that wants to come, come. Beautiful. And it's showing how the birds are just kind of flowing and circling around her, right? It reminds me of the message on this card in the tarot. Which usually the imagery is a little bit different. But in this card, it talks about kind of holding things a little too tight to the chest, like being a little bit too prideful, not allowing yourself to get vulnerable, and kind of being a block, a stumbling block in your own way, because you've got this blockage going on, almost like you've created a dam, right? The dam stops that water from flowing, and it feels like there's a dam that needs to come down. It's time to expose yourself, get vulnerable, get a little less critical and nitpicky with, well, but this, it needs to be done this way, and I don't want to show this, and I need to hide this. Just letting everything go that needs to go. And therefore, the things that need to come will have room and space to come. A lot of you are feeling uninspired, and it's because of that right there. You're feeling blocked, right? It's time to tap into the energy of flow. Okay, let's go to this section of the reading, which has all the more career-oriented cards. We can get a little bit more specific with that. All right, we have the celebrity card, the sun. So some of you may be Leos. We've got King of Wands. We've got the celebrity. It says, I lead with my light. Charismatic, imaginative, luminous, confident, authentic, inspiring, passionate, magnetic, impactful, public, fashionable, independent, noble, generous, and unique. That right there is how people should be describing you when they talk about who you are in terms of your career, your coworkers, if you have any, or your customers, if you have any. Those are the words they should be using to describe you, your business, what it is you're about, what you do for a living. All right, from the archetype deck, we have the martyr. The light attribute says learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or to a cause. A martyr is someone who sacrifices themselves for the greater good of others. Kind of reminds me of that Aquarius energy. A martyr sacrifices their time, their wants, their desires because of this cause that they believe in. All right, now let's look at the Uncover Your Calling cards, the ones I talked about when we started the reading. Okay, the first one is investigative, and it says discovering resources. The second one is social. It says helping overcome obstacles. And the third is enterprising, and it says opening doors. Yeah, it looks like I'm still getting that vibe of like life coach, not so much psychologist, because psychology is very much behind the scenes. You know, psychologists don't talk so much about themselves, right? They're just there to listen. This feels more like a life coach, a guidance counselor, a teacher, or someone that's got a really inspiring sort of blog, or an author, or you know, someone on YouTube that does videos, something maybe that feels a little bit, it's almost like in your career, you're meant to help people tap into the highest version of themselves, whether that be through you directly telling them, guiding them through that, or you just inspiring them through the work that you do. Like some of you could be actors, actresses, singers, songwriters. That's not the same as a life coach, right? But those movies, those songs can often inspire people to tap into a deeper, more vulnerable part of themselves. And so it's kind of like in this martyr card, I'm seeing that it's like, I'm going to sacrifice my own sense of privacy. You know, some of the things that so many people go through life keeping secretive or hiding, I want to expose that. I'll be a martyr for that cause, because I want people to not feel alone. I want people to be able to see the way, to know that, you know, other people have gone through X, Y, or Z. I want to help people discover the resources they have within, how they can learn through their experiences, how they can overcome obstacles, how they can locate those doors just waiting to be opened. All right. So beautiful, beautiful energy. Comment below. Let me know what it is you're kind of leaning towards. What are you going through right now career-wise? Are you in an industry that sounds anything like this? Have you started something? I would love to know. Love, love, love to know. Thank you so, so much for coming. I enjoyed spending time with you, and I look forward to seeing you in next week's Pick a Card reading. Bye, my love. Hey Group 2, welcome to your reading. I can't wait to see what advice or guidance or encouragement Spirit wants to give you in terms of your career, your overall purpose. We are actually going to be using a new deck that I bought a couple weeks ago when I got like a whole bunch of them all at once through Amazon. And this isn't an oracle deck, okay? We're gonna use it like it is. But I actually used this the way that you're supposed to, that it's designed to, with my mom and my sister last weekend. And it was a really enjoyable process. They're like 14, 15 bucks on Amazon. So I recommend anyone getting them that feels they could be of use. But basically these cards help you determine what your calling is in life. And this card kind of summarizes what that means, what the author means by that. So it says, what is your calling? Number 1, your calling is expressed by the special gifts you consistently give to others. Number 2, your calling fulfills your desire to use your gifts on things you feel passionate about. And number 3, your calling comes to life in environments that support your values. So then it has this little equation here that says your gifts plus your passions plus your values equals your calling. And the cards help you kind of determine that or get closer to what that means for you. But so let's start actually with rolling the die, and then we'll get into the tarot and everything else, okay? One of them popped out of my hands. All right, okay, we have the North Node in Pisces in the 2nd house. So North Node is all about something we've never experienced before, something we haven't experienced even in previous lifetimes. This is like a new starting point for our soul in terms of the wisdom it wants to accrue. This is something it's not familiar with. It's new. It's a new direction. Oftentimes it's something that we've obsessed about for a long time. You know, like, oh, I love this. This fascinates me. I'm so obsessed with it. But we kind of think, oh, it's a little too out of my comfort zone. Like, that's not really for me, right? So all those things kind of encompass the North Node. The 2nd house is about values, valuables, finance, money, jewelry, antiques. I mean, really anything that holds value and money that we make for ourselves. And Pisces is kind of about fantasy, the subconscious, spirituality, healing, okay? So your career maybe is meant to fall into this sort of area, or the die could be touching on something you're going through at this moment. Like, I've found something that I am obsessed with, but you know, money could be an issue. I'm worried about loss. I think this is a little too far-fetched for me to imagine or dream. Like, maybe it's something even that's like a hobby, you know, but you've never been able to imagine or see that you could actually make money doing it. For some of you, I actually think you'd be really, really good with investments, stock markets, money management, what is that? Estate sales, wills, that insurance, that sort of thing. But Pisces is also a real creative energy. It's not just associated with boom or a loss. So creativity as well, creative endeavors. But we'll see as we get into the rest of the cards. So let's look at the tarot. Okay, we have 5 of Cups. This is definitely a card that signifies loss, regret. Then we have the 10 of Wands. We have the 7 of Wands as well. Ooh, the Queen of Swords. This is air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And then we have more wands, 4 of Wands. Beautiful. So overall, a lot of wand energy, okay? A lot of fire energy. I do like the stability here that this ends on as well. So I see here that there are, okay, you may be in a, I see that you're kind of looking back on the past, okay? Looking back on losses, regrets. Why did I do that? Why couldn't things have turned out this way or that way or the other, okay? And having a hard time focusing on, okay, it is what it is at this point. What do I have to look forward to right now? What do I still have left that I can use? What resources are there? Some of you may have dealt with a financial loss or bankruptcy, for example, or something unexpected in relationships or family life that's kind of been a distraction for you ultimately. And I hear that Spirit's really wanting you to force yourself towards looking at the future, okay? I see a lot of looking back on the past. It's time to get obsessed with the future, with goal setting, with what do I want to look forward to? Because I just see you keep turning your back. You keep wanting to reevaluate things from the past. Or, I don't know, you're just getting stuck in that energy there, okay? So Spirit's really wanting you to take a look, not at the cups that have spilled, okay? They've already spilled. That's already said and done with. Take a look at the cups that haven't spilled, the resources that are still there available to you, and find out how you can squeeze the most out of those. Turn the lemons into lemonade, so to say. I also see here with the 10 of Wands and the 7 of Wands that you may be feeling, on top of this, kind of looking back on the past, you may be feeling a bit overburdened, like a lot of tasks or responsibilities are being placed on your shoulders. Things may be feeling a little bit overwhelming at the time, but the message on the 10 of Wands is that, you know, the journey is almost over at this point. You're at the 10. This cycle, this burdensome sort of cycle, it's over if you want it to be. You don't have much longer left to go. You're at the final sprint in that phase of life, okay? And then we have the 7 of Wands, and this man is about to go up against a lot of obstacles here, a lot of opposition. He may need to get into defense mode, ready to fend off any attackers or things that come his way. And what is he doing before he starts that? He's sitting down in prayer. He's tapping into the highest version of himself, the resources of the universe, of God, of Spirit, to help boost up his confidence, to help receive guidance and assistance. He's in prayer, all right? So some of you need to, I feel like some of you actually were in a great, what's it called, schedule with prayer or meditation. But something in life has kind of distracted you from that, where it's like, oh, I just don't have the energy. I'll just go ahead. I'm just going to get up and go and start doing. And it's leaving you feeling kind of drained and a little bit alone in what you're going through, and not able to perform as your best self, all right? So Spirit's also urging me to tell you, like, have them get back into a mode of prayer. Gratefulness as well is going to be important, an important muscle for you to practice at this time, all right? And then we have the Queen of Swords and the 4 of Wands. Now, what I've always loved about the Queen of Swords is she is a queen that really knows her value and her worth, and she's so good at setting boundaries for herself, especially in terms of like emotional boundaries. She stands strongly and firmly. What she says, she actually does. She follows through. She's not a hypocrite. And she also fully understands that no is a complete sentence, okay? She is able to emotionally detach from a situation in order to do what needs to be done, to tap into that logical side of herself and say, well, no matter how I feel about it or how they're going to feel, this is what I have to say. This is what has to be done. I feel like that's kind of the training camp that you're in at this time. And that's what's going to lead you to balance and stability, because the Four of Wands, fours represent that stability, balance, groundedness, rootedness. Right now you're in this kind of 10 of Wands, 7 of Wands phase, which 10 of Wands is very overwhelmed, overburdened, tired, exhausted. And 7 of Wands is having to be defensive, having to, go out and fight against things. So I see that that's what you need. You need this Queen of Swords energy, because she is really great at cutting things out of her life that need to be cut, balancing out her time and her resources, her energy, and protecting herself, okay? So, yeah, you need that. There's some things that need to be cut out of your life, all right? Not just in terms of career. It's actually getting a little bit deeper here. This is in terms of habits, like spending habits, for example. Your values. Are you protecting your values? Are you protecting your time, your energy, your resources? Are there relationships that are draining you, and why? What needs to be adjusted? What boundaries need to be set in order to bring that relationship to a healthier place for yourself? Okay? There's a little bit of self-centeredness that's actually needed at this time for your career. And self-sufficiency. I see that a big part of your life purpose is teaching yourself how to be self-sufficient. It doesn't even so much matter what career avenue you're going into. For this group, it may be broad. We'll see as we get into this side of the cards. But you're supposed to stabilize yourself, not need to rely on anyone else's income, resources, time, or energy to know that you're good. Your bills are paid, that money's coming in, things are taken care of, debts are paid off, and wow, all from my own work, all from my own money. This is huge for you in this lifetime. It is what brings you your sense of confidence and pride. It is what brings you your joy and your happiness, and that's not shallow. I think part of you kind of thinks like, oh, I don't want to be so money focused or money oriented. That's so shallow. No, it's not. That whenever you earn money for yourself and you protect that money, you care for it, you make it grow, you foster it, you don't waste it, that reinforces your self-worth. It raises your net worth, literally, right? And it brings you confidence, which is what we should all aim for in life. We want to feel confident in ourselves. So you've got to, it's going to be important to cut out anything that you are codependent on. Anything that it's like, oh crap, well, I've got to rely on this person or this thing. Like I can't trust myself to take care of myself. Or even like I'm addicted to this. Being addicted to something reinforces that sense of I'm not self-sufficient. I have to have this thing to survive. So yeah, tapping into that Queen of Swords mentality so that you can get to a place of stability. I see also that it's really important in this lifetime for you to own a home. To own a home that you helped pay for. So I'm saying even if you're married, okay? Even if you are married, it's going to be important for you in this life to have your own little side hustle or career or money that you're making for yourself, okay? Don't ever let that go. It will just drain your confidence. You're going to feel so detached from your purpose if you do that, because your purpose has a lot to do with this. Figuring out your values, earning money for yourself, okay? Building your self-confidence. So owning a home that you help pay for, that you're on the name of the owners, your name is on there, is really, really important for you, as well as having a family that really stabilizes you. Doesn't mean you have to have kids of your own, but just having a family, having siblings or cousins or parents or aunts or uncles, something that you've got to have a family, whatever that version of family is for you. You've got to have that. And it needs to be more than just a spouse, okay? I guess is what I'm getting at. You need people that you refer to as, this is my family, and I can count on them and rely on them and trust them. I protect them as much as they protect me. We are stable. We are secure. There's nothing toxic going on here. That is huge for you, okay? All right, let's look into the card toppers you all gravitated towards. We had both of these. We had two toppers, right? Now look, this one is in meditation. Okay, on the back here it says intuition, Allow the limitless power of your unconscious mind to answer your problem by using symbols, memories, and hunches. And the card number is 55. Fives are about like radical change. Something's got to shift. Fives feel very unstable because we have to destabilize something in order to get to a place of stability, right? So you've got to move through the change, cut out some things, destabilize some things in order to get to this 4, this place of balance and stability. Okay, and then on the other card topper, we have the throat chakra. Okay, the throat chakra sits right here at our throat, and it empowers us in our communication skills, speaking, listening, expressing vocally or mentally, getting that out. And this one, actually, the card says listening. If you want to be heard, learn to listen. And what I'm seeing with this, with the intuition and this card, as well as the 5 of Cups, and this here with the man praying, is Spirit's wanting you to listen to it, okay? This isn't so much talking about other people outside of you, people you have relationships with. No, this is Spirit, God, Source is like, hey, if you want me to hear you, first take time to listen. Prayer, for example, prayer is when we're asking God to listen to us. God, I want this. God, thank you for helping me with this. God, thank you for whatever it is. That's where we're speaking, right? And communicating to God, and God's listening. Meditation is when we allow God to speak to us, when we sit and we listen. And for some reason, that's what God is really urging you to do at this time. If you're not so much a believer in God per se, then meditation is when our higher self can speak to us. And that you've got to tap into that at this time, your more spiritual side, and get a good zoom out of like, okay, what is my overall life purpose? Where am I being called to go? And am I doing the right things in order to get to that place? But I can see that things are a little crowded in your head. Things don't feel clear to me. And so that's why we have all these cards that are showing like prayer, intuition, listening to that inner self or that version of our higher selves of God. Okay, so take time to do this as you move through all of this. Some of you would be really, really good as psychologists, okay? Psychologists that help with addictions or through loss, counselors that help move people through loss, through death, because that all involves kind of listening and tapping into your more intuitive side, okay? So for some of you, that's your calling. But we'll see more as we get to this side. These are all my career cards over here. We've got one more card from this side though. Okay, it says outrageous openness. Dear love, open me to your will. Love is capitalized because in this card it's referring to God, to Source, to the universe as love. Dear love, open me to your will. Release me from my attachments. Surprise and delight me with your plan. You know what's needed and I am open to receive. Wow, so another card really urging you to go into meditation. So I would say for you, I know it's hard, especially because I see that you're already feeling overburdened and burned out, but it's going to be crucial for you to set aside 5-10 minutes a day maybe, or a few times a week to meditate as well as to pray. Maybe pray in the evenings, meditate in the mornings, and get a good cycle going. Because, and I can see too, when it's talking about the attachments, that's speaking to, like, am I too attached to a certain thing? Am I addicted to something? Am I codependent on someone or something? You've got to get to a place of total self-sufficiency. That's what God is leading you towards. That's what your life is trying to walk you towards. Okay, let's look at our career side. We have the communicator. This is a Mercury card. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. We have the hero or the heroine. Let me actually read this communicator card. It says at the bottom, words have power. Truthful, outspoken, flexible, clear, quick, relatable, friendly, intelligent, open-minded, intuitive, psychological, discriminating, informed, and articulate. So that is how people should describe you when they're talking about your life purpose, what you do for a living, what your calling is, your career. Those are kind of the things they should be describing with it. Like, oh, they're very truthful, they're very outspoken, they're very intuitive, they're very relatable. And again, I'm getting psychology vibes, or volunteer sort of work or organizations, something where you're really helping people to communicate by tapping into your intuition, by listening, by allowing, okay? The hero heroine card says passion for a journey of personal empowerment. That is really your life purpose. You came down here to learn how to be empowered, how to be self-sufficient. And that's why you're going to be great at leading others to that as well. Once you've walked yourself through that, learned the pitfalls, the mistakes, this and that, you're going to be a great director for others in that sort of area. For some of you, I actually see that it's not even so much, it doesn't even matter so much what it is you do for a living or decide to do. Some of you may be actually Pisces midheavens, which can be known for that, like, oh, well, you know, it's whatever you want to do. And I do see that. And I know that that probably frustrates you because I think you feel that too. It's more about the meaning behind it, the character behind it, the energy around it. And you're supposed to feel healed, healthy, reliable, dependable for yourself, not so much for others. Okay, I mean, maybe, obviously, if you're into psychology, you've got to be dependable for other people. But a lot of us can get stuck in the trap of, well, other people describe me as a real dependable person. I'm great at being there for others, but I'm shitty at being there for myself, at following through on what I told myself I was going to do. I was going to pay off this debt. I was going to change my spending habits. I was going to improve my health, you know? So I feel like you're already pretty good at kind of being dependable for other people, sacrificing for others, but not so much for yourself. So that's kind of what your life purpose encompasses. Okay, let's look at the Uncover Your Calling cards and see what we got. Okay, we have an artistic card that says creating things, a realistic card that says growing things, and an enterprising card that says bringing out potential. Okay, I'm definitely getting, I know I talked about having a family. You are meant to have children or a kid or kids, whether it be through pregnancy, through adoption, through fostering. You are meant to do that. That's what that creative energy, creating and growing and bringing out potential. Some of you would do great in working with kids if you're interested in psychology, or even like a children's physician, a pediatrician, I guess would be the word for it, or a doctor that helps people in labor, like a midwife or a labor doctor. I don't know what the word is for that, but someone that helps women through pregnancies. Some of you could be good teachers as well, but I'm getting like a younger energy, so like teachers in high school or college or elementary school. Or counseling and psychology is a big one that's coming through. But it's almost like even if you're in a totally random career, it's like the real purpose that you'll get, the real calling that you'll have in that career is that you do become someone that your coworkers or customers maybe open up to, get a little bit personal about things. And you develop a close relationship with them. You kind of become a guide for them. So really in any career, it's like I see you having this sort of gentle energy with your coworkers, with your customers, where it's like, yeah, maybe they came into the bank to deposit their money, but they sit in your office a little bit longer and talk to you about their weekend, or they come and bring you gifts on holidays because they really care about you, they love you. So it's kind of more about that, the underlying relationship dynamic going on at your place of work and what it is you do for a living. So you help create, foster, grow things, find the potential in others. And yeah, but you've got to find it in yourself first. You've got to remember that you have all the tools, you have all the resources that you need. You don't need to rely on anyone else or anything in order to provide that for you. If some of you, for example, are in a cycle of addiction, you're relying on that substance to bring you that feeling of peace, that feeling of happiness, of joy, right? It's like, well, I can't feel that way unless I have that thing. And what I'm hearing from Spirit is actually, no, you can provide that to yourself without any outside person or resource or substance. Okay, so that's kind of the journey that you're on here. It's like, how can I provide for myself the things that I need, not just materially, not just through money, but physically, emotionally. Okay, because you can. That's literally what you came down here to do. So release those doubts. Tap into your higher self daily through prayer, through meditation. You will find it. You will find it. And yeah, you're going to have a lot to come up against. Things have got to be cleared out, cleaned out. It's not fun, right? It's work. But through prayer, you will be able to do it. You will be able to do it, to clear things out, okay? Beautiful energy. I'm thinking of you guys. I'm praying for you guys, all right? You can do it. Comment below if you need to. I look forward to seeing you in next week's pick a card reading, all right? Thank you so much for being here. I love you. Bye. Hey Group 3, welcome to your reading. Can't wait to take a look at what guidance, advice, encouragement Spirit wants to give you in terms of your life purpose, your career, your calling. We're actually going to be using a new deck that I purchased, and it's not actually an oracle deck, but we're going to use them like they are. This deck's a lot of fun. It helps you figure out like what your calling is. I used it with my sister and my mom a couple weekends ago. We went through, it comes with a little thing of instructions, and yeah, it just helps you narrow down what is your calling. And there's a little card here that kind of summarizes this. It says, what is your calling? Number 1, your calling is expressed by the special gifts you consistently give to others. Number 2, your calling fulfills your desire to use your gifts on things you feel passionate about. And number 3, your calling comes to life in environments that support your values. And then there's a little equation here that says your gifts plus your passions plus your values equals your calling, okay? So we'll take a look at those, the 3 that came out for you towards the end of the reading, but I want to start with the die and the tarot as usual. So let's take a roll of these real quick. Okay, we have Pluto in Pisces in the 10th house. So the 10th house is the house of career and our public image. It's about things that people see of us publicly, so even social media could fall into this category. But yeah, with the 10th house coming up, career, this is going to be big for you. Your career is directly connected to your life purpose. Some of us have life purposes that are more connected to, you know, or we came here to heal things with family. We came here to produce life, to have children. We came here to experience a fulfilling marriage. We came here to learn these certain lessons. But some of us have a life purpose that is all about, you came here to do something like this in career. You came here to create this business. You came here to be this public image, okay? Of course, there's nuance, and we have multiple kind of purposes going on all at once in any life, or a little more complex than that. But 10th house, career, big one for you all. Pluto is about death and rebirth, complete transformation, like loss and new beginnings, destruction and reconstruction, okay? And Pisces also can be about loss, you know, letting go of the self completely, tapping into a more artistic or spiritual side, tapping into the universe, to fantasy, to illusion, to projection, healing, like especially emotional wounds and scars. Yeah, so some of you may have Pisces in the 10th house. I do. And it can cover like a lot of different things. People with Pisces midheavens can go into a lot of different careers, but it's more about, okay, well, what is that career doing for you? Are you able to truly let yourself go? Are you being of service to others? Are you sacrificing a part of yourself for the world? Yeah, so we'll see as we get deeper into the cards. Let's take a look at the tarot. Okay, we have the Emperor. This is Aries energy. Then we have the Page of Wands, more fire energies. Again, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius now. Then we have the Moon. This is Pisces energy, once again, like in the die. Wow. The High Priestess. This is more kind of Pisces and Cancer energy as well. And then we have the Page of Swords, so air energy. Aries, Libra, not Aries, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. All right. Wow, this is beautiful. So we have 2 cards here. The Moon and the High Priestess. This is strong psychic energy. This is about revealing secrets, tapping into the unknown, going on a dark journey, tapping into the subconscious, the more spiritual side of life, which is kind of what the Pisces energy in the die is all about. And then we have the Emperor and the Page of Wands, which is more about, it's a fiery energy. It's very entrepreneurial. It's very go-getter. It's very adventurous. The Emperor is also known to be very organized, very much in charge of his domain. Nothing goes unnoticed with him. He's very structured. He's very wise as well. That's why they depicted him kind of older on the card. He's very wise when it comes to the no-nonsense, more practical aspects of life. And the page here, you can see he's on some sort of explorative journey. He's in Egypt, it looks like, reading some sort of artifact that he discovered. So he's discovering things. And we end here with the Page of Swords, which is he's very intellectual. He wants to rethink things. He wants to find knowledge, find new facts, data, and information, find new perspectives, all right? So I definitely see in the cards that you're meant to have a complete, just like Pluto in the die, you're going to do one thing for, maybe the first several years in career, and then all of a sudden, death, transformation, and like a totally different career goal or career path. Kind of like with me, I'm a Pisces midheaven, like I mentioned, and I was in banking for 7 years, banking, finance, loans. I did a lot of different jobs in the banking industry, but it was all within that realm, okay? And then I went through kind of a death and transformation of sorts, and now I'm a tarot reader and an astrologer. You guys are meant to kind of have that same sort of thing, where people are like, wait, what? How is someone who was into banking and finance for so long now into tarot and astrology? Like, that doesn't even add up, Something like that you guys are meant to go through. Okay, so I don't know if you're still in that first sort of career and now you're kind of feeling uncertain, trying to figure things out, but there's meant to be like a big explosive sort of shift. Okay, so initially something more practical, fiery, grounded, maybe even adventurous, okay, but like physically more adventurous. Like, I'm going to go explore here and I want to go there. And then there's a shift to a watery sort of energy, something more emotionally creative, something a bit darker, more psychic, intuitive, spiritual. All right. Yeah, these feel very separate, these two parts of these two phases of life. Okay. And ultimately with the Page of Swords, it's like you're supposed to be a really, really open-minded sort of person, always, really. And that's a big thing that's going to happen with you when your career shifts like this. It's going to break down barriers in your mind. Like, well, I always thought life was like this, and I always viewed things this way, and I had these values, and I had this, that, or the other. It's almost like you become a very non-judgmental person. And I don't even think you are described by people as a judgmental person, but somehow you even become less judgmental, where you're kind of like, you know what? No one really has the truth. You got to live and let live, and everyone's on their own journey, and I'm just on mine. And just a very open sort of energy and perspective on life is what you're kind of being led towards. But you're going to receive that sort of perspective through this big shift in your career ultimately. Okay, we'll get more into that as we go into the rest of the cards. Let's take a look at the card toppers you all gravitated towards. This is both of these. It's a little Native American with all the moons above him. Okay, on the back of the card it says precision. The desire to do things precisely is useful as long as it does not devolve into rigidity. Okay. And then from this card, we have the third eye chakra that came through. The third eye is right here, and it rules our psychic abilities, our intuition, our imagination, being able to see what is not visible with the physical eyes, right? The spiritual realm. It says destiny. Follow your instincts. They lead to the truth. That's what I see that you're kind of seeking in life. You want to find the truth. Some of you may have your midheaven point in the 9th house, if you did a whole sign natal chart, or even in Sagittarius. You're always going to be seeking the truth. But you need those new experiences, those big shifts, in order to feel closer to it. So you don't want to stagnate too long in a specific career or arena. And that's what I see with the precision card. It's important to be precise, to be motivated. But if it gets to a point where things are feeling too confined, too rigid, over-structured, then that's your sign that things have gone too far. You've got to pull back a little bit. You've got to open up again. Because the Emperor, like when reversed, which actually it did come up reversed when I was flipping the cards over, can be way too rigid, way too kind of strict and not open, like, no, it needs to be this way, things got to be this way, right? So I see that you are moving into a place of openness and flow in your career. And I do feel that some of you are wanting to be astrologers, tarot readers, psychics. Some of you actually are meant to work with like the cops, actually, something more public, but psychic work with yeah, with investigators, detectives, cops, or use your intuition. Maybe some of you are meant to actually go into detective work. Okay, so not necessarily like you're labeling yourself as a psychic, but you actually are going to use your psychic instincts as a detective. Other people may not know it. Maybe it's only at night that you go home and flip the tarot cards and like, hey, what should I look into next? But kind of like helping solve mysteries with your intuition. That's for some of you. Others of you are meant to move into, yeah, something much more creative, artistic, okay, coming from a totally different background into this. But you have a destiny here. You're meant to use your third eye, okay? There's actually, I have a friend who has a real strong third eye chakra, because when we take our aura photos, every single time her aura comes out like this indigo purple, which represents the third eye. And she's not a psychic, okay? But she is extremely intuitive, and it's what has made her, she's a business owner, actually. She was actually in the oil and gas industry stuff, doing something with IT, I think. I don't even remember. And then left that to pursue a career selling clothes online. And her shop is just massive now. It's called Angel Heart Boutique, if you guys want to check it out. I've actually plugged her shop in another video of mine before, sometime last year. It's so popular. She was making good money in the oil industry, but even better money now. And I've always told her, so many people in our circle of friends, after seeing like how successful she became in such a short amount of time with no money to invest into this, okay? Like, her story's crazy. I should have her on, I should do an interview with her and have her on my channel because she gives such great advice. So many people were inspired by her in our kind of friendship circle, and we're like, I want to try and do that. So they started trying to learn from her, right? And kind of copy or mimic what she did. And no one really was successful with it. Yeah, not a single one, I don't think. They all kind of gave up after a few months. And I was always like, see, Shai, what you did is not something everyone can do. Like, you have this really strong intuition where you can kind of foresee the future, tap into, I don't know, universal consciousness, and know like what products need to be bought, like what products are going to sell. She just kind of instinctively knows. Or where's the market moving next? Where should my ads be going to? What sort of age group? What sort of demographic? Like, it's her third eye, it's her intuition. So although not all of you label yourself as psychics or even want to do that sort of work, your intuition is going to guide you towards massive success in your career, something that's more open, okay, less structured, and a huge shift from what you did previously or are currently doing if you're still, in that first initial career that you explored or went to college for example. Yeah, for a lot of you, it's like you went to college for one thing. That degree is going to have absolutely nothing to do with your ultimate career that you go towards, all right? Okay, let's look at the last card on this side, and then we'll get into the career cards. All right, we have surrender. It says, sometimes learning to surrender can feel as if you're dying. That makes me think of Pluto here, death and rebirth, the phoenix rising from the ashes. The ego learns what's hardest, to stop trying to control the whole universe. Wow, that goes so well with the precision card. Letting things go, not being too rigid, being open-minded. Okay, it's time to open your mind. For some of you, maybe this is the first tarot reading that you have ever watched in your life, and this is something that you've been not necessarily against, but maybe like a non-believer, a total skeptic. Okay, Pluto is about to come in and just knock down those walls and make you rethink everything, open you up to a whole other side of life, a whole other realm, an entirely different universe. This is beautiful, you guys. I just see this beautiful expansion and blooming going on around you in your mind and your heart and your soul. Okay, let's look at the career cards. We have the Queen. This is a card of the moon, so Cancer energy once again. It says, I am an empowered feminine leader, regal, courageous, prosperous, loyal, powerful, compassionate, intuitive, responsible, administrative, knowledgeable, and trustworthy. I love this because what it's listing here in the description is kind of combining the energy of both of these cards. The Emperor is very responsible and administrative and knowledgeable, right? And the High Priestess is very loyal, powerful, compassionate, and intuitive. So it's like you're going to learn how to combine your divine masculine and divine feminine energies here. And the phrase here, I'm an empowered feminine leader, that doesn't mean that all of you identify as feminine or female, right? This is talking about the divine feminine within all of us. Femininity, the energy of it, is much more receptive. It allows things to flow and come to it. It's not necessarily exerting itself onto others. It nurtures, grows things in a more passive sort of way. And that's the career that you're meant to go towards. Something that's a little bit less aggressive, okay? And something that's more receptive. Okay, we have the child wounded. This says, awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children and opens the learning path of forgiveness. Okay, and then on the Uncover Your Calling cards, we have a social card that says instructing people. We have the realistic card that says moving physically. And we have another realistic card that says fixing things. Okay, so yeah, I see that you're going to use, or meant to use, your psychic intuitive energy for something very practical, grounded, and realistic. Kind of like what I was saying about combining these two energies. So yeah, some of you I feel are meant to be detectives, okay? Maybe FBI, CIA type of stuff, or just help solve mysteries in a sense, which is very practical. It's something that needs to be done. Others of you, I think, are meant to leave, kind of step away, not step away from career, I don't want to put it that way, but some of you are really going to have your career as not less of a priority, but I see you kind of focusing more on family, children, okay? Where it's like maybe before your entire life was all about career, and now you've kind of seen this value in this more feminine side to life, parenting, bringing children into the world, and kind of balancing this out. Some of you, actually, your family life, your children, are meant to kind of be a part of what you're doing career-wise, whether it's that you're leaving a legacy behind, creating some sort of legacy you can leave behind for them, or train them in, something you're handing off to them once you pass, some sort of business maybe. But like the passion in it for you comes from, I want to do this because I want to leave something behind for my kids. I want to leave a legacy behind. For all of you, I think that your career is meant to be something that requires, we have this moving physically card. Actually, for some of you, could be great coaches, like coaches in sports, for example, or yeah, maybe even life coach. I could see that, because we have fixing things, moving physically, instructing people. Yoga, a lot of you are going to get into like yoga or Reiki healing, being a chiropractor, something where you're healing the physical body, but in a kind of spiritual way, if that makes sense. So not so much like, well, you could do tarot and astrology, but I'm seeing something where it's like something physical is being changed or altered because of what it is that you're doing for a living. But you're definitely you're tapping into and connecting to your inner child, the inner child within other people, and healing the wounds going on beneath the surface through whatever it is that you are doing. So beautiful, beautiful energy. I'm excited for you guys for this huge career shift. It was such a big moment in my life, and I never, ever, God, if future Addison could have gone back in time to talk to 19-year-old Addison, I would have just thought I'd gone crazy, to be honest. I'm like, no, there's no way that I'm going to be into tarot and astrology. Like, no, I never would have expected it. And that's what I see is going to happen for you, where it's like you never in your wildest dreams would have thought that, like, wow, this is what I'm doing for career. Like, this is cool, but I never would have thought that was me. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful energy. I'm excited for you guys. Comment below. Let me know what it is you're doing for a living right now. Like, is the shift already happening? Do you have no clue what I'm talking about? But I want to thank you so much for coming and allowing me to provide this reading for you. And I look forward to seeing you for next week's Pick a Card reading. And I didn't say this for the other pile, so this is just for you, pile 3. If you chose pile 3, comment below on like a topic you'd like to see me do next, whether it's a pick a card topic or a totally separate kind of video. Let me know, and I'll kind of scroll through those and pick and choose something that I want to do. Okay, I love you guys. Bye. Hey pile 4, welcome to your reading. I'm excited to see what guidance, encouragement, motivation Spirit wants to provide you in terms of your life purpose and your career. Does anything need to be shifted? Is there anything you need to know? So we're going to start with actually looking at the die as usual, right? And going into the tarot. Later on, we're going to get into more like career specific cards. And I'm actually using a new deck that I got a couple weeks ago. And this is an oracle card deck. Like any of you guys can get this. These cards, they have a little instructions that come with them, and they help you narrow down what your ultimate calling in life truly is. I used them with my sister and my mom, and we had a lot of fun. It was really enjoyable. I think they're like 14, 15 bucks on Amazon. So yeah, I recommend you guys checking those out. But there's a card in here that kind of summarizes what does it mean when we're questioning what is our calling. And it gives 3 criteria here. Number 1, your calling is expressed by the special gifts you consistently give to others. Number 2, your calling fulfills your desire to use your gifts on things you feel passionate about. And number 3, your calling comes to life in environments that support your values. And then there's a little equation, to summarize it, that says your gifts plus your passions plus your values equals your calling. Okay, so we'll see which cards came up for you guys, what your top 3 calling cards were. Okay, let's take a roll of the die. Okay, we have Pluto in Capricorn in the 3rd house. Wow, okay, intense energy. So Pluto is about, it's a lot about power, okay? It's a very powerful sort of energy. It's about destruction and rebuilding, kind of exploding things, but I'm getting a very like intensely powerful energy off of the die, like power focused, power hungry, finding your power, kind of like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And we have Capricorn here, which is all about career. It rules the 10th house of career. It's about building a legacy, but in a real practical, tangible sort of way, like things that people can physically see and experience. That's that Capricorn energy. The 3rd house is about short distance travel, short sort of learning experiences, like high school, elementary school, siblings, as well as communication, cars fall into the 3rd house, things like that. Okay, so let's get into the tarot cards and we'll see how this lines up with the die. The die could be summarizing like your life purpose, or it could even be tapping into some energies going on in your life currently and what Spirit wants to say about that. Okay, we have the Queen of Pentacles. She did come up in reverse. This is earth energy, so Capricorn like in the die, but also Virgo and Taurus. Then we have the 9 of Swords, the Ace of Swords, beautiful, the Knight of Swords. Okay, lots of air energy, which the 3rd house is typically considered to be ruled by Gemini, which is an air sign. But air energy is also Libra and Aquarius. Wow, and more swords. Then we have the 10 of Swords. So we've got 1 earth card, the Queen of Swords, and then all of this air energy. Interesting. All right. So I do see that with the Queen of Pentacles coming up in reverse, it feels to me that even though you've got this Capricorn here, which Capricorn is very materially focused, like it gets its source of power, I guess, from tangible things like money. All right. Money equate, like the more money that you have, the more success you have, like correlating the two. But I'm seeing with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse that you're supposed to be kind of doing a career in which you will be very powerful, but it's more like your mind is what holds the power, not so much the money or the material things, although I do feel that that will come with it. It's more about starting from the right source. And the source for you is your mental power, your logical energy, your mental strength, all right? This sort of air energy. So you're supposed to be in a career that really lets you utilize this. I see you being very good at kind of like gathering the data, the logistics, the information. I see a lot of movement with that air too, like the wind really blowing rapidly, moving things forward at a very quick pace. But the energy on the cards feels actually like a more masculine sort of career, something we typically associate with, I guess, masculinity, or kind of more males being interested in that energy, whether it be like IT or business investments or gosh, I'm trying to think, but something. I'm also getting a vibe of like online too. This could be like a legacy that you're building online through your knowledge about something or energy that you have. Yeah, when it comes to retaining knowledge, spreading information. Some of you are meant to be like a journalist, for example, reporters in politics, like in a more like a local scale. So like mayor of your town or principal of the school or something like that. You're meant to be also like well educated. So something where you have some sort of degree or a certificate or something that kind of like showcases like I've got knowledge in this. But I also see with these two cards that there is, okay, this is going to also be, you're meant to be kind of in a career line of work where there are enemies around you, okay? Just like a soldier that goes out into war. There are, you are kind of surrounded or in the midst of negative things, darker energies, darker forces, enemies waiting to attack, waiting to take you down, waiting to, cancel you, competition in a sense. And you've got to have a sense of bravery about what it is you're saying, about the information that you are conveying, about the message that you're wanting to get across. So this feels quite like forceful, like, no, I know what I'm saying. This needs to get out here. This knowledge needs to be put out. This is what I have to say. This is what needs to be shared. But yeah, and I'm getting a little bit of like a competitive environment, something with a bit of competition with other people kind of wanting the same thing that you have, trying to do the same thing that you're doing, viewing you as a bit of a threat. So this feels like, yeah, something where you've got to be a bit solo in it, okay? This isn't a job where it's like you're going to have a business partner or like collaborators necessarily. It's like, no, every man's in it for themselves type of thing, okay? Spirit's also wanting me to talk about anxiety, okay? Because I definitely see that coming up with you all. A sense of overwhelm and anxiety and anxiousness, okay? And what they're saying is that anxiousness and that anxiety comes from you acting a little bit too quickly on certain things. That's what they're wanting you to figure out and master, because you are meant to move at a fast pace in your career, but you've got to be precise, okay? You've got to make sure that you really do have all the facts, all the correct information, before you sign that contract, before you say, no, this is what it is, this is, so seems to be some anxiety about some tension with things. And Spirit's saying that can all be alleviated if you try and restrain yourself, okay? Try and restrain yourself. Wait for the right moment to have that conversation, to take that action, okay? And it's not like you're going to have to prolong things or wait too long, but sometimes it looks like you're acting just a bit too soon. You're pulling the trigger like a little too fast, okay? So they want you to, help practice that sense of restraint when it comes to some of the things that you say or the actions that you take or the plans that you want to start, all right? Yeah. Okay, let's look at the cards on this side. These were the card toppers you all gravitated towards. And it's funny because this is like the most colorful card in the deck paired with the least colorful card in this deck. Like it's all black, right? And these are all the colors. But another thing I like about this is that black contains all the colors in it, right? It's a mixture of all of the colors. It's not something that we think of when we look at black. Like we don't get that. Our eyes don't visualize that or see that. The black's actually technically very colorful, right? It's basically the rainbow just mixed all together. But yeah, if we were to separate it out, you'd have this. So interesting. I'm not sure why Spirit wanted to give me that sort of metaphor with things, but I do definitely think that there is, because I do see tension and stuff here in work life and environment, and I do see people kind of who judge you before they get to know you. That's kind of a stigma that you carry with you. People assume that you lack color, right? They see this darker side, this more standoffish side, this more like guarded energy. They don't necessarily see the kind of sweetness and colorful side and vulnerability and creativity that is contained within all that. So you have a very potent sort of like Scorpio vibe that you give off. But I feel like you guys do a good job of kind of embracing that within yourself. But at the same time, I do see a lot of frustrations in, gosh, why people don't get me? Why is everyone misunderstanding me? Why does everyone, think that I come across harsh or like a jerk or careless? Like that's not me. So that's going to be also a big learning curve for you and career-wise. People will always misunderstand you. That's just going to be a fact of life for you. So it's like, just let go of that anger, irritation you may feel when you are misjudged, because for some reason, it's just kind of a part of your journey in this life. Okay, so on the back of this card, it says fear. It says, if you want to be free of fears and phobias, then you have to understand why they exist and make peace with them. This card often talks about fears and phobias because that comes along with anxiety, right? Which is what I touched upon. And for you all, there's a huge fear around lack of money. And that seems to be the driving force in a lot of your career choices is this like, oh God, I'm not going to have enough money. I need enough money. I need enough material abundance. I don't have it. I don't have it. And Spirit, like I touched on at the beginning of the reading, needs you to let go of that and focus more on the intelligence, the mental abundance that you have. That the material will come after it, okay? You're fine. Everything's fine. You're going to be fine. And there could be something from childhood that put this fear in you. Maybe you had parents who were overly concerned with money. Maybe your family really lacked money. Maybe you got picked on in school because you never had the cool clothes and the cool shoes and the nice phone. Something like that really like triggered this sort of anxious response in you to be overly concerned with your material abundance. But it's just draining your power from you. And you're meant to be incredibly powerful in your career. Let God, what I'm hearing from Spirit is like, let God worry about the material abundance. Do what you need to do, but get out of this state of worry and focus that mental energy towards your career, your purpose, what you're meant to be doing, this sort of competitive drive and this fast-paced energy and this spiritedness, getting your voice out there, getting your message across, fighting for something that you care about. Focus it on that, okay? All right, on this card, so this is a chakra balance card. So all the other decks so far have had a specific chakra that came up, like the throat chakra, the third eye chakra. For you, this is chakra balance, all of the chakras working together. It says, embrace the balance between earth and spirits. Beautiful. Earth, that's that materiality I've been touching on. Yes, you do want to be provided for materially. You want to have enough money to pay your bills, right? That's good. We've all got to feed and clothe ourselves and make sure we're protected and got a roof over our heads. That's good. But balance that out with this more spiritual side, this more mental side, the thoughts, the ideas, the messages. Balance it out, okay? Balance it out, and it's going to be so much easier to see the path that's laid before you. If you can calm yourself, don't react too quickly. Okay, that's another thing I'm hearing. There's this, it's kind of like you want to react instantaneously to verbal comments you may receive, things that bug you or irritate you. Practice restraining that, calming yourself, finding that inner balance, okay? Knowing that you don't need to prove anything to anyone when it comes to your intelligence and whether or not you're right or wrong, whether or not you're successful, okay? All right, and then we have letting go. It says, everything is indeed out of control, and God will hold it all. I can safely let go. I love that for you guys. That goes so perfectly with all of this. Let me read it one more time. Everything is indeed out of control, and God will hold it all. I can safely let go. Life is out of our control, ultimately. We can control ourselves to an extent, our decisions, what actions we decide to take, but whether or not another pandemic comes, whether or not that person decides to pay me back, whether or not my boss is misjudging me and doesn't like me, all of that out of your control, right? That's one of the things I think we all come down here to learn when it comes to life is letting go of the things that are outside of our control. And when you're in this anxious state of worry, like I'm seeing in the cards, that's caused from you not being okay with letting go, not being okay with remembering that everything's out of our control and there's nothing I can do about it. So it's time to just close my eyes and go to sleep, and just leave it to God, right? Okay, let's look at the career section of the cards that I have laid out for you. Okay, we have the strategist, and this is a Mars card. Mars rules Aries and Scorpio, which I feel strongly, especially from Pluto. Pluto also rules Scorpio. Strong Aries Scorpio energy here. It says every vision has a plan. High achieving, productive, calculating, passionate, decisive, ambitious, enthusiastic, systematic, competitive, active, tactical, goal-oriented, persistent, and gritty. So those are the words people should be using when they describe who you are in terms of your career, what you do at work, who you are at work. Those are the words people are meant to use. And I also feel that some of you have negative associations with some of those words, that you actually are that way. You are, for example, competitive, gritty, competitive, gritty, persistent, high achieving, decisive, calculating, but you kind of hear that word and think, oh, no, 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 I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm nothing like that. What are you talking about? It's time to embrace this side of yourself, this competitive, gritty, calculating part of you. People will misjudge you, okay? Definitely see that. But you're also kind of misjudging yourself. You're also kind of trying to, like, being ashamed of certain aspects of yourself that you really shouldn't be. Like, just embrace it. This is who you are. You are the strategist. You've got this Mars and Pluto energy that is powerful, explosive, intense. That's you. That's great. You're going to do so much in your career with that energy once you embrace it. Okay, then we have the Damsel. It says, understanding the nature of healthy romance and inspires you to rely on yourself. In the shadow attributes, it says, waiting for a knight to provide for you and seduction by romantic illusion. I feel that some of you actually just got out of something really toxic, maybe not just, maybe a few years ago even. And you have gotten into a really intense, quick moving relationship. It's actually moving too quickly is what I'm hearing from Spirit. And the reason you have this urge to go so quickly with it is because you, on some level, well, first of all, a lot of it has to do with material worry, okay? You're ready to have someone else who can help with the bills, who can increase the income, who can help stabilize you. That's a lot of it that I'm seeing here. It's like, I don't feel materially stable or abundant. Like, oh, I can't. I'm so glad that now I have someone who can, let's go ahead and get married now. Let's go ahead and move in now, okay? You are able to provide for yourself. And I feel like you don't like having to provide for yourself. You do it, yeah, but it's not enjoyable for you because of this anxious energy that's surrounding you all the time. But that's only there because you're overly worried about the things outside of your control. And this whole message here is about let that go, okay? If you were able to let that go, you would really enjoy being completely self-sufficient, self-reliant, providing for yourself, okay? That's what's in the way. It's not that you don't enjoy providing for yourself. It's that your head is filled with these anxieties that are completely unnecessary and you don't need to have. So remember how I was talking about kind of acting too quickly, being too reactive? For some of you, Spirit is talking about that in terms of your current relationship. Maybe some of you aren't in that next relationship. You're single. And this reading is about be wary of yourself when that new relationship comes in. It's not that that relationship isn't meant to work out. For some of you, it could be. It's about how fast are you moving and why? And why don't we work through that? Figure out what issues are there, okay? All right, let's look at the Uncover Your Calling cards. Okay, we have a social card that says Awakening Spirits. We have the Artistic card, which says Adding Humor. And then we have the Enterprising card, which says Starting Things. So yeah, with enterprising, social, and artistic cards coming up, you're meant to be in a more creative, laid back, loose sort of environment, or maybe where you're kind of working for yourself or creating your own business. That way you can decide the structure of it, the organization of it. Some of you are meant to work in some sort of spiritual or religious like organization, maybe as like some sort of pastor or spiritual leader, or like a singer creating music that's inspired by Spirit, by God, by the universe. I see some of you wanting to, some of you actually would be great comedians, helping bring laughter, or even pastors. Did I say a pastor already? Yeah, like helping to add laughter and joy into people's lives to alleviate people from their own stress and anxiousness. Starting things, definite go-getter for sure. Some of you are meant to kind of write little articles and things that kind of make people rethink their perspective on something, whether it's political, religious, personal. Yeah, but I definitely see with this air energy, it's meant to be in a career where, yes, you're communicating something, you're conveying information, you are sharing your knowledge, but it almost feels like it's in a like a lighthearted way. You help people forget the worries of the world through what you do. That's a great way to summarize it. You're helping people tap into a new source of knowledge and kind of like zone out for a bit while they're reading whatever you've written. It's like they're zoned out. They are learning something new. They are awakening another part of themselves that's not so attached to the material, like fighting for a cause, for example. You know, some of you are meant to fight for some sort of cause, whether it's personal or political or religious, or helping the needy, or like helping to inspire people to do more, to take action on something, to go for something, to heal something out in the world, but doing it through your words, through your writing, through your communication, through your journalism. For example, maybe some of you go to like an impoverished area in your town, in your state, in your country, or somewhere in the world, and you do some sort of piece on it, or you write about it and you show pictures and you talk about what needs to be done there, like you awaken people's spirit to a cause. Okay, that's what you're meant to do. And yes, it's a competitive environment. It's one where you've got to be gritty, you've got to be powerful, you've got to be self-reliant. That's the other thing. There's a lot of like really big things that Spirit's wanting to do through you, but you don't feel self-reliant enough to go out and do it, to buy that plane ticket and go visit that country and go to that impoverished area and do your journalism on it. Like, just me even saying that out loud, I feel like to you is like, well, yeah, what the heck? That's crazy. That's way too much. Maybe if I had a partner that could come along with me, maybe I feel like you guys are always trying to add in that partner. You know, oh, I want to start a band. I need those partners. I need those band members. Like, versus why don't I just like create and release my own music, upload videos, do my own little YouTube channel? It's like you have this sort of like, no, I need to do that big crazy endeavor that I'm excited about. I have to have other people with me, someone else on board to lean on, like the damsel card talked about. Spirit's ready for you to get that notion out of your head. You do not. You don't. Okay, you don't. And in fact, you will self-sabotage every time that you do that. Every time you move too quickly, you react too soon, you take action too soon, too quickly, or especially if you are doing things too insecure to do on your own. So pulling someone else in to help you, right? You will self-sabotage every time, okay? So go out, you've got something big in the works, that's really trying to open up for you, okay? So work through these anxieties, these fears, these phobias, and tap into your most powerful self. Help awaken people to this cause, to this whatever the belief system it is, whatever endeavor, but it's something that feels very kind of like, I don't know, almost like, I don't know, you like shift people's perspectives. You make people want to donate their time or their money towards something. You make people rethink their political or religious beliefs through what you do. You help people connect to their spiritual self, okay? Beautiful energy. We need more people like you guys out in the world, for sure. So I can't wait to see what you do with this energy that is you, that is powerful, that is Scorpio, Aries, that is Pluto, Mars. Believe in yourself, all right? I love you so much. Thank you for coming. I look forward to seeing you in next week's Pick a Card reading. But until then, bye-bye. Hey, Group 5, my final group. The sun has set. Looks a little darker in here than it did earlier when I started this, but I'm here and I can't wait to see what Spirit wants to convey to you about your career and your life purpose, what advice or guidance or encouragement that you might need, any changes or updates that need to be made. We are going to be using a new deck that I got, and this isn't an oracle deck, but we're going to use it like it is. These are called calling cards, and they help you narrow down what your ultimate calling is in life. And I actually used these with my mom and my sister a couple weeks ago, like as they're supposed to be used. There's a little set of instructions that come with them, and we really enjoyed it. They sell them on Amazon. They're like 15 bucks, I think. And yeah, I'd like to encourage anyone who feels that they could be of use in their life to check them out. But there is a card in here that kind of summarizes, like, what does it mean when we say, what is our calling? So number 1, your calling is expressed by the special gifts you consistently give to others. Number 2, your calling fulfills your desire to use your gifts on things you feel passionate about. And number 3, your calling comes to life in environments that support your values. So there's a little equation at the bottom that says your gifts plus your passions plus your values equals your calling. So we'll get into those towards the end of the reading. We'll see which 3 came out for you, what your top 3 calling cards are. But let's start with rolling the die and taking a look at the tarot. All right, so we have Venus in Capricorn in the 10th house. So 10th house is career and public image. So for this to come up, it's really telling me that your life purpose is deeply connected to your career, to what you do for a living, okay? Capricorn typically rules the 10th house. It's very comfortable there. It's all about building a legacy, something that's tangible, that others can see, that others can benefit from, that others can witness. And Venus is all about our values, the things that hold value, whether that be our money, our possessions, our relationships, our beauty, our image, all of these things. So I do feel that you're meant to go into a line of work that encompasses this energy. It could be something that you're already in right now, but let's see what Spirit says about navigating through this. Okay, we have King of Swords. This is air energy, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Then we have a Knight of Wands, fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Ooh, then we have the Devil card. This is the card that represents Capricorn in the tarot, which already came up in the die. Ooh, and then we have the Death card. This is Scorpio energy. Wow. Oh, wow. You guys have 3 major arcana. I think that's the first pile that this happened to. We end with the Star. This is Aquarius energy, just like the King of Swords, which already came up. Beautiful. Wow, what a spiritual transformation your life is meant to be. This is beautiful. So I can see from the Devil to the Star that you really came down here to start out very materially focused, very focused on, the material, the money, the car, the house, what society deems as successful, kind of showing that off maybe, but ultimately like not feeling fulfilled, being like, why are these material things not fulfilling me? Yeah, that food is fun to eat, but it makes me feel like crap afterwards because it's not healthy for my body. It's nice to smoke that cigarette or drink that alcohol, but then I feel like crap the next day. Or, I'm this relationship, like everyone wants to be in a relationship with this person because they're very physically attractive and successful, but deep down, like I don't really click with this person. So getting to a place where it's like I'm materially abundant, maybe I'm getting everything I want materially, physically, but I feel so unfulfilled. I feel trapped. And then you have this Death card that comes in. It's like time to die and be reborn, go through a spiritual maturity. And this would be something that happens to you that's kind of outside of your control, whether it be like the pandemic that happened in 2020, the death of like a loved one that really like changes everything, makes you realize that, yeah, life is so short, and am I doing what I want? Am I doing what makes me happy? Whatever it is that leads you to your star, this is where you get to. And you'll notice the woman in the Star card, she has no clothes on her body. She doesn't have a Louis Vuitton bag with her or a Rolex watch, right? She doesn't have the designer clothes. Like she's abandoned all of that because she realized that that's not what fulfills her. Those are just material things. Yeah, they're nice to have, but I've got to make sure that I'm leading a life that's fulfilling to me. Where's my North Star? And by letting all of that go, allowing that to die, to fall away, those material distractions, she can finally see her North Star. She knows her purpose. She feels complete freedom. Moved from feeling trapped, obligated to stay in a situation that's not fulfilling to you, that maybe entices you because of the money that it brings, the material abundance it brings. Going from that sort of place of feeling trapped to, I'm not chained to anyone or anything. I don't even have baggage, belongings to my name, but I am so fulfilled. This is amazing, you guys. If any of you guys are currently in this Devil sort of situation, I really think Spirit brought you here to like rethink this, to awaken something within you, to remind you that there's so much more out there. If you're not fulfilled, it's time to pursue something that is. And I know that can seem scary to let go of that material abundance that you may have because of that toxic marriage that you're in, that toxic job situation that you're in, or whatever it is. It can be real scary because it's like, am I really going to let all of this go for what? I don't even know what I'm headed towards. That would be crazy. That would be stupid, right? But if you're here right now, Spirit brought you here for a reason. There's something else for you. Something more peaceful. I can see with the King of Swords and the Knight of Wands. King of Swords, he's very emotionally detached, okay? He looks at things based on logic. This feels like your initial energy. Someone who's like, okay, well, who cares about how I'm feeling about it? I've got to do what logically makes sense. You know, it makes sense to stay married. You know, divorce is expensive and who knows if I'm going to find anyone better. So, and you know, people are really envious that I'm with this person, to be honest. Like, people are jealous that I got to marry this person. So logically it wouldn't make sense to divorce, or logically it would make no sense to leave my, you know, my job. I'm like at the top of the career. I'm like the boss of everyone. I make the most money. Like, who cares if it's not fulfilling? It brings home the bacon, and you know, people are actually jealous of the status, the title that I hold. So King of Swords is very good at this, emotionally detaching and kind of like doing what makes sense logically and materially. And that seems to be an energy that you are like real comfortable in, that you operate in most of the time, which everything's got its upsides and its downsides, right? The downside with the king, I mean, the upside is that he makes decisions that make sense. You know, he knows how to look at the data and decide what needs to be done regardless of how he feels. The bad side is that if he gets too detached or disconnected from how he feels, then there's no way for him to feel fulfilled. Fulfillment is a feeling. It's a feeling within us. There's no logic attached to it. Okay? So if you are rejecting your emotions and your feelings over and over, you will feel unfulfilled. You'll basically feel nothing, right? So I see this Knight of Wands energy that you're meant to kind of shift into. Knight of Wands, he's fast moving. He's on a horse. That means he's headed somewhere new. He's leaving something behind to go towards something new. And he's extremely passionate, adventurous. Like, this fiery energy is about feeling ignited, passionate, awakened to something, okay? Chasing after something. That's what you're meant to step into so that you can find that star. For some of you, your career is kind of meant to be in the spotlights. Something with a bit of fame attached to it, okay? That won't be for everyone, but yeah, for some of you, there's kind of an element of fame coming through in the cards. Something where it's like you are known, you know, your name is out there. People know who you are. Your face is kind of, yeah, recognized, okay? But for all of you, there's going to be this moment where it's like you're reshifting your values, and it changes your career. With Venus here in the die, for some of you, it's like you kind of are living out your fulfillment through another person. Like, maybe you have a spouse or a partner that's really high up in their career. So by being with them, your status is kind of raised. You're in the spotlight because they're this awesome, successful, well-known person, okay? And Spirit's like, it's time to let that go. It's time for you to figure out what you're going to be well known for, what your calling is, regardless of what your partner does for a living. Like, what about what you do? Don't just settle for just being known because you're with someone else. What do you do? What's your calling? Yeah, there's going to be a huge value shift where it's like, I'm valuing my feelings now more than the material things that surround me. Where you balance out this King of Swords. You still want to have that ability to be logical, to take in the data and the facts and the info and to make decisions. But you're going to be balancing that out with also what feels right. What am I feeling intuitively? What is my gut guiding me towards? So that you can find that place of fulfillment and freedom. Beautiful, beautiful energy. Well, let's get into some of the other cards, and then we can look more into kind of specifics in terms of like career and stuff. Okay, let's look at the card topper you all gravitated towards. Actually, two cards, these two cards. We've got the Native American. I don't know what animal that is, but I see a butterfly, and I forget the name of this animal. And then we have this beautiful red card topper. Okay, the back of this card says willpower. Use your willpower to bravely overcome thoughts of compromise and defeat. And then the back of this card has the root chakra on it, okay? The root chakra is the lowest chakra in our chakra system. It's the very first one. And it's all about grounding and material safety. You know, making sure that we are safe and secure materially so that we can move forward. And this card actually says grounding. Sink your roots deep. Connect them to the heart of the earth. The earth is a material plane, right? But there's a big difference in being materialistic and being grounded. And that's the difference I see in these cards. This card is more like a materialism of like luxury goods, money in the bank, you know, good sex life, eating the foods that you crave, regardless of like what they do to your body, you know, succumbing to all your cravings and temptations. That's what this card is kind of about. Whereas the Star card, she's on the earth in this picture, right? But it's like she's grounded, she's rooted to it. She's enjoying what? She's enjoying the lake, the stars in the sky, the flowers in the field around her. It's a totally different experience of the material in these two cards. And with the root chakra coming up, that's showing me that like things need to be redone here. We start with the root. We take that seed and we plant it, and the first thing that's going to grow before anything is those roots to get it established, grounded, and stable. Then the flower can blossom from it. The tree can appear, or the vegetable or fruit can grow, right? So you're going to be regrounding yourself, rerooting yourself. For some of you, I feel that there's a need to actually move physical locations to get this process started. Okay, yeah, absolutely. And then we have the willpower. Use your willpower to overcome the thoughts of compromise and defeat. When we're in this devil energy, we do need willpower to leave. Some people look at this card and assume that these people in the card are terrified. The only reason they're not leaving is because they're like scared the devil's going to attack them. But the reality is these people know that the devil's not going to attack them. The chains around their neck are actually very loose, and the devil has let them know that they can leave at any time they want. They don't need to stay. So why don't they leave? Well, they're getting something that they want there. They're getting something, whether it's that brownie, that cigarette, that alcoholic drink, that sexual relationship with someone who's not, you know, doesn't treat them right, but that material dependency. Well, it provides, this job provides me, right? Pays me, so I guess I should continue. You need a lot of willpower to walk away from this card, to leave all of these temptations behind. It's required of you. Willpower. That's exactly what this card is talking about. You have it within you. You're stronger than you think you are, which seems to be a big theme in today through a lot of the piles. But with 3 major arcana cards coming up here, this is a huge spiritual endeavor that you're taking on over the next couple years, I feel like. A huge shift. Okay. All right, we have the loss card. It says, sometimes you learn true offering through loss. You make a passionate invitation for love to take over and bring her own plan instead of the ego's. So they refer to love in this deck. Love is like God. You could replace that with God. So you make a passionate invitation for love, or for God, to take over and bring her/his own plan instead of the ego's plan. This card is about living life through the ego. What does the ego want? The ego wants to give in to its temptations. The ego wants to show off and live in material abundance, or, you know, be able to, kind of like show off. What fulfills the ego, right? The sense of pride, the sense of I'm better than everyone. This feels good, so I'm going to do what I want type of thing, right? So this is going to require you losing something, just like the death card talks about. Experiencing loss, letting something go physically, tangibly, whether it be that relationship, that job, those items that are filling up your closet. Maybe it's time to literally like purge your closet, purge your house. You're holding on to too much. Maybe it's time to move. Okay? This is going to be required of you if you want to tap into this purpose. Now, of course, we're all here with free will. By all means, you can stay in this devil card energy as long as you want to. Nothing's going to stop you. Nothing will. Nothing's going to force you to leave that energy. But Spirit is really hoping that you will grip down, tap into your willpower, and move so you can reground yourself, let some things go. This is beautiful. This is what everyone wants to see in their career reading. For it to end on the star means amazing things for you. But you have to make the choice. You've got to choose to walk away from this dark, stagnant energy and into the light, the stars, the meadow. Okay, let's look at the career side that we have here. We have the artist, and look, it's a Venus card. Venus is what came up in your die. It says, I create my vision. Creative, visionary, imaginative, idealistic, connective, harmonious, passionate, receptive, reverent, and spiritual. Then we have the priest. Wow. Facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. This is beautiful. For some of you, I actually see getting into actual painting. I see like physical creations, like tangible things, painting, jewelry making, gardening, like creating your own soaps, lotions, potions. Yeah, something where it's like you're physically creating something beautiful, but it's not materially focused necessarily. You know what I mean? But something that you're kind of selling or offering. For some of you, I see you being like a spiritual guide to others, going to live in a certain community that's very nature focused. That is, or like a spiritual retreat type of place, but something where it's like you're working there in that energy, where it's like there is no focus on material. It's about just grounding, connecting with the earth, like a commune type of thing, or yeah, some sort of spiritual retreat. Okay, for a lot of you, I see this happening like overseas in some sort of interesting country. You're learning a new language. You're connecting with like a tribe of people. Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. Wow, you guys got some crazy stuff up ahead of you if you want to take it. But yeah, I see a lot of you actually living overseas somewhere, or doing both of these things at the same time. Maybe like creating little things that you sell, but living in this sort of community. I just see you kind of surrounding your people. You're going to be surrounding yourself with like-minded people who share your values. You're going to be leaving the community that you're in, which is very materialistic, and going to a country or a city or a state that more aligns with these new values that you have, where you want to be more grounded, more creative, more kind of at ease and connected to life and to nature. You know, I see you really getting connected to nature, living somewhere where it's like you can really enjoy the weather, the flowers and plants that are around you, getting little pets to take care of, things like that. Okay, let's look at the calling cards. Okay, we have enterprising. It says making deals. We have artistic, which says performing events. And we have structured, straightening things up. So yeah, with the making deals, that's making me think of kind of the little tangible things that I see you creating and selling, which I think I already listed off. But yeah, I see you offering that online or in person at markets or whatever. So something where you are kind of running your own thing, creating your own thing, creating your vision, like the card says. Performing events. This is kind of what I was talking about when I said I was tapping into something like a spiritual retreat. For some of you, this event performing could actually be like on Broadway, in plays, in musicals, something like that. Some of you were like trying to pursue something more in Hollywood, okay? And then you've kind of realized, like, why am I fighting to earn my place in Hollywood? Like, why don't I go do what I love somewhere else? I can get in plays and get on stage anywhere else and just do something more small scale that's more fulfilling to me. Or if you're pursuing some sort of music career, you know, just kind of like letting go of the control of that and just getting more tapped into your own creativity, and not so much like a goal of where you want to go with it, but just like allowing it to be. And then we have the structured, straightening things up, getting things cleaned up, organized, in order, so that you really can feel at peace. I see you guys living in a meditative state with your life, just very calm, very peaceful, okay? But using your gifts, because I see that you guys are insanely talented and creative in a lot of different areas. And not a lot of people are getting to see all of these talents. They're being hidden away. They're being masked in this sort of devil energy. But I see them finally being able to come out. And I'm really proud of you guys for that. Create what it is you want to create. Some of you, I see you like opening up a bakery. You've always wanted to like bake beautiful cakes. And so you decide to do that. You know, you leave your career as a manager of some corporation and you like, I want to open up a bakery. Like, you're making something really beautiful. We have a lot of Venus energy here. Or like the jewelry. I want to create my own jewelry, or something really, really pretty, okay? Something that really does have a lot of value artistically and materially. All right? I'm excited for you guys. This is absolutely lovely. Let me know what you're talented with down below. And for some of you, this is going to be years ahead of you. Okay, you don't really know, you haven't really reached this point of exhaustion of like, oh, I'm so sick of all of this. Like, what is the purpose of all of this? Some of you are actually on the rise in your career right now, and you're disappointed in this reading. You're like, what? No, I'm wanting to work my way up in this enterprise, in this big industry. You know, you don't know what you're talking about, Addison. You just wait. You'll get there. You'll get to the top. You will. So if that's what you came here to hear, just know you will. You'll be hella successful at whatever you're doing. People are going to be insanely jealous of you. People are going to be envious of you and your life. You'll get there. Don't worry. But the ironic thing is, once you get there, you're going to be like, I don't think I want this anymore. And you're going to do something else amazing. You're going to leave it behind and create something new and be known for something else and just live a more quiet, peaceful life that's abundant, yes, but not like you're out to like prove something. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for sticking out this message with me, listening to what I had to say, what Spirit wanted to say through me to you. I love you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in next week's Pick a Card reading. Bye, my love.